So let me know how many times this happened to you. You are given a list of vocabulary in English to learn and to memorize, but you still end up not remembering anything from that list. Exactly. Even if you end up remembering 25% of the words from that list, you still don't know how to use these words in your daily English conversations. This is why learning vocabulary just from a list is not a very effective way to learn and to truly understand the word, and yet still a lot of people do it. So why shouldn't you learn from a vocabulary? Words never exist on their own. They always exist in a sentence, and that sentence gives context on how that word is used. Learning and memorizing words in isolation, individual words, means that you are taking that word out of context, out of the sentence in which that word is said. What does it mean to learn vocabulary out of context? When you take words out of context, that means that the situation in which that word is said is not known. So when you don't really know how a word is used or when a word is used, that means that you don't actually have understanding on how that word is really used. When you don't truly understand it, you forget about it very fast, and you have a very shallow understanding of that word. This also becomes increasingly problematic if you're an intermediate learner and you still memorize words by putting the Indonesian translation to it. So as a beginner, this method could actually work better, but as an intermediate, this is a big no-no. Take a look at this example. The word look and the word see means the same in Indonesian, lihat. So they're the same, but what's the difference? When you simply write this in a list, look, lihat, see, lihat, you don't really know the situation in which these words are used. You don't know the context. So for those of you who want to know the answer, the difference between look and see, the difference is actually very subtle. To see means that you are seeing something naturally. Like you don't really pay attention to what you see. Whereas look means that you're actually focusing and concentrating on what you're looking at. As an example, when I said, take a look at this example, I said take a look because I'm asking you to look at the example and focus on it. I didn't say take a see, right? Because take a see does not exist. It sounds very weird and it's just not natural. So this is why I say take a look. But if you simply learn vocabulary just from a list and not knowing these contexts, you're not going to know the difference. So how would you know then? By the way, I am so excited to tell you that I have finally launched my premium 2-month coaching program, English Sprint Academy. So from this program, I help intermediate learners just like you go from stuck at the intermediate plateau to sprinting your way to the advanced level so that you can finally become a confident and natural English user. The enrollment is already open from today until the 27th of February, and I'm only taking 15 people. So if you are an intermediate English learner and you urgently need to speak English for your life, for your work, for personal reasons, or whatever, make sure that you apply from the link here in the description box or in the comments. And if you are deemed fit to join the program, then you're gonna get in a call with me because I have to make sure this program is a fit for you and you are fit for the program. So I'm very excited because I have worked so much on this program and I'm so confident that this can totally help you. So yeah, I will wait for your application and let's get back to the video. So if I shouldn't learn from a list, what should I do instead? So there are two things that you can do to learn vocabulary more effectively. You are much better off learning vocabulary through real samples of English, so not from a list. By real samples of English, I mean real materials, real content in English. So this could be from a book, from a TV show, from movies, or even from songs. So again, this all comes down to exposing yourself to as much English content as possible. Let me clarify, learning from a list is okay as long as you make that list. If you're learning vocabulary from someone else's list or from a list that you got from the internet, that is ineffective. And the second thing that you can do is that when you found interesting, relevant words that you would like to learn, when you put it in the notebook, make sure that you actually write in phrases and in full sentences instead of just individual words. Let me give you an example. So this is my list of vocabulary that I collected for French. If you can see it, so when I collect words in French, I make sure that I wrote it in either full sentences or in phrases. I do collect some individual words, but I only collect individual words if I know that that's an important keyword that was necessary for me to understand what the story or what the message is about. So the reason why I always write my vocabulary in either phrases or full sentences is because this will allow me to still understand the word from full context. I still know the situation in which this word is used, and that gives me a deeper understanding of how to use the word. So yes, instead of really just writing down individual words and the translation in your native language, write full sentences, and you can even write the meaning in your native language right next to it. As long as it gives you context on how the word is used, then that's good. And lastly, one important thing that you should do after you write down your words or phrases is to review them often. Because if you write so many words and phrases down in your list, but you never review them again, most likely, almost at 100%, you're going to forget them. So the time you spent learning in the first place is wasted. So why did you even learn them in the first place if you're not going to retain and review them again? So make sure you review them as often as possible. So now you know a better way to learn vocabulary instead of actually learning and memorizing them from a list. As usual, I hope that you learned something new from this video and you can implement it in your English learning journey. And I will see you next time in another video, and have a good evening. Bye-bye.